other side of the room because it's time for Ringside. Got a bunch of news lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, we're just gonna jump in. During a Q&A with fans on Twitter, Alexa Bliss reiterated that she plans to return to wrestling. Some are interpreting this tweet from the Ohio native as meaning she hopes or plans to be back for SummerSlam in Cleveland. I honestly don't know what they're gonna do with her. I honestly don't know. Because do you remember when she did come back for like a brief time? And that's when they were doing all the spooky stuff with Bray Wyatt. And then that was pretty much it. Was that when she tried to do the acid in the mouth and it didn't work? Right? She tried to do the mouthy foam thing and it didn't really go so well. I don't know if that was still a thing. Remember her gigantic AR Lily doll? Remember that? Remember Lily? That was great. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have anything for her. I don't know. I could be wrong, but just the way that everything's going right now, she would just like sort of show up, you know, and they would kind of just have to like throw a random feud at her, and it just wouldn't. But then again, it's in SummerSlam, and that's a couple months away, and I'm talking as though like it's happening in the next like couple weeks, and it's not. So she could come back around that time, I guess, and it would be more than enough time to like start up a feud, which is fine. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't really heard anything, you know, because last time I checked, she had a baby and she got married. So, you know, she's doing a bunch of other stuff with that. Right? So, you know, it just, I don't know, right? I mean, I guess we're just going to have to wait until she does end up actually making an appearance because, I mean, for all I know, right, they could be in talks with it right now. So, I mean, I don't know. It definitely is plausible for her to show up around that time, but I mean, just the way that the momentum is going right now, it feels like we might not hear anything, and if we do, it'll probably be like, man, I don't know, it'll probably be like closer towards SummerSlam. So that's probably the best time to wait, is closer towards SummerSlam, just to sort of see if anything about her is going to pop up. So we're going to have to wait. Next, PW Insider says the Mark Kerr biopic The Rock is set to star in will film from May 1st to August 1st in Los Angeles, New Mexico, Tokyo, and Vancouver. That will likely limit his WWE availability and probably rule out doing anything physical. May 1st to August 1st. So, no, May 1st to August 1st. So then no Backlash then. Maybe. Slash, no Backlash slash Night of Champions. That's what it sounds like. Because those pay-per-views take place in like the middle of May, and I think August is SummerSlam. I think it's either Money in the Bank or one of them. It's either Money in the Bank or some. The point is, okay, well, it ends on August 1st, so it sounds like he's probably just gonna miss. Potentially, he's gonna miss Backlash and or Night of Champions. That depends on what they have him do and how they like want to schedule him, right? So, I mean, 9 times out of 10, he's probably going to miss one of them, which like they probably already planned for. So my money is still on something in Saudi Arabia, potentially Night of Champions, because that's where it was the last time. What was it, Backlash? Yeah, Backlash is in France. So, I mean, as much as they would love to have The Rock there, I don't think they're going to do anything with that. I could be wrong. I genuinely do not know what they're going to do with The Rock and Roman. I have no idea. It sounds like they want to make this a next year WrestleMania thing. But it also sounds like they want this to be done, like, soon, so that they can say that they did it and they don't have to, like, prolong it any longer. But I'm hearing stuff about The Rock's not going to be on Backlash, and Roman's not going to be at Backlash, and now I'm hearing The Rock's going to be in a biopic. Mark Kerr is apparently a UFC champion, by the way, so I thought he looks just like The Rock. Like, I thought he was related to him. He's not. He's just a UFC guy. So, also, anyway, so I don't know what they're going to do. I genuinely don't know. It sounds like if they want to get it done, Night of Champions is the best place to do it, because you got Saudi Arabia and it's a pay-per-view, and it's potentially going to be right in like the avenue of, well, this is when he's free, you know. And if they don't do it then, I have literally no idea. The only other pay-per-view I can think of is SummerSlam. That's it. I have literally no other idea. So, the only speculation I can throw is that they've got everything already planned out. They know that he's going to do the biopic, so they've got Night of Champions pretty much lined up already. Rock Roman, Roman wins. Roman can win. Write Rock off. He can go do his thing. We can get back on track. Other than that, I genuinely have like literally no idea. Sticking with WWE, while noting that WrestleMania and Money in the Bank have 7 p.m. Eastern Standard start times this year, PW Insider sources tell them WWE is considering moving all, quote, domestic pay-per-views to that earlier start time, but hasn't made a decision yet. I get why they haven't made a decision, because Triple H has shown that you do not have to have that many matches on the card, and you can still put on a decent show, cough, cough, Tony Khan, right? So, I understand why he's a little bit like, well, okay, let's not immediately jump on that right now, just because I know the way that I plan stuff out, so maybe that's not something that we immediately have to, nail in, can't pull it out anytime soon type deal. I think that it would be a great idea, having it start at 8. That way, the longest they can go on for is until midnight. Man, and if it's going on that long, you've already got too many matches on there, right? So, I think that's the best thing. I don't think you want to start it too early, right? You want to give people enough time to come home from work, get settled in, make their dinner, and then start watching. That's why I think 7 is pretty good, because that's enough time for them, because, they come up at 5. So, it gives them, at least, a good hour and a half window. Knock everything out in the house, sit down, and then watch some wrestling. And if it has to go on for because the longest it needs to go on for is 4 hours, is 4. Once it gets 5, it's all right. At that point, you've got 13, 14 matches, or somebody went overtime, or there's too many segments. 4 hours, I think, is, for a pay-per-view, for a WWE pay-per-view, I would not double take at that. 4 hours, I'd be that makes sense. It's a SummerSlam of Money in the Bank. A lot is going to be happening here. So, I'm not going to be too opposed to that. 3 hours, I'd be okay, let's do a bite-sized little endeavor, see how it goes, so I think 5 hours is too long, but that's why I'm saying 7 is fine, because 5 hours, you're not leaving the parking lot at 1 or 2 in the morning, you're leaving out there at midnight, you're good to go, you've got a little, you've got ample time, so, there's not a decision yet, which I understand, and if I'm going off of the right assumption here, he's just doing it because not every single pay-per-view is going to go on for that long, so he's what's the point, which I understand, so, I mean, it's either way, right? Because Triple H knows what he's doing, so it's not he's not gonna do a pay-per-view with 8 matches and make it 6 hours, and then a pay-per-view with 2 matches and then make it 1. He's not, the numbers make sense, So, yeah, I mean, nothing really much else to say. Just gonna have to wait and see if that's what they actually end up doing. Hopefully they do, but if they don't, then it's fine. Finally, WrestleTix points out that WWE is going with a smaller than normal stage setup for SmackDown, Money in the Bank, and NXT Heatwave in Toronto this July. This will allow them to get more than 18,000 people in Scotiabank's Arena's reserved seats. I can't remember, they did this for Survivor Series, and I believe they did this for Backlash as well. This was last year, by the way, obviously. You get the point, though. So, very smart, right? Incredibly smart idea. Get as many people as you possibly can, stuff them in there, have them sit on top of each other, right? And then trick them into coming to an incredible pay-per-view. So now all of you are stuck here, and you spent all your money, and the show is actually really good, so you can't even say anything. So, that's honestly my genuine thought, is the last couple pay-per-views, like Survivor Series and Money in the Bank. No, I don't think it was Money in the Bank. I think it was Money in the Bank, with a small stage that they could see over. Because Backlash was one, and Royal Rumble was another one too, the most recent one. So that when I hear that, when it's they're taking the Titantron away so that you have more room to see, it's so 1, it sounds like they're going to a special arena. First of all, 2, it also sounds like the arena, or the layout, I should say, is going to be special. It's going to be custom. 3, that means I feel when they have special sets like that, the pay-per-view is going to be incredible. That's what I think, right? Because again, you had Money in the Bank and Backlash. Pay-per-view was fantastic all across the board. And I mean, all of them were great, but I feel the ones that had the specific, stage and everything had a little extra stank on it. And hearing that's good, right? So, SmackDown, Money in the Bank, and NXT Heatwave. It sounds like all 3 of them are going to be lined up potentially, because I mean that makes sense, because you got the SmackDown, you got the Money in the Bank, and then I don't know how they're gonna go. I mean, if they're all, but that's what I'm saying. If they're all 3 lined up like that, then obviously it means they're connected in some way. So I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But all in all, I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are. I hope you're excited, because that's what that means. It means that if they're doing a special set and all that, layout's going to be different, show's going to be great. So, SmackDown is more than likely going to be a go-home show, right? And then you got Money in the Bank. I'm looking forward to that. And then you got NXT Heatwave, which I'm sure that's going to be great. So, yeah, man, keep an eye out for those, and I'm sure those are going to be great. What do we talk about? I don't know if Alexa Bliss is coming back. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I was just thinking about this, like, literally, like, 20 minutes ago, and I forgot what my initial thought about this was. But the point is I just feel like, I don't know how to explain it. I need to stop thinking as though SummerSlam is literally around the corner. It's not. It's literally in, like, the next, like, what, 3-4 months? So, again, entirely plausible that she could come back. It just doesn't feel like she would. I don't know. It just doesn't. And also, yeah, that's what it was. She gave a very short answer. Someone on Twitter was like, hey, you coming back? And she was like, yep. Not even making it. That's literally, yep. That was it. So, if that's anything to go off of, right? Like, I mean, if we're going off of vibes, then that's not giving a vibe that you think it's giving. So, all but 2 people who were on a list of WWE, Leah, what's her name? Leah Maivia, she's in the Hall of Fame, and those same sources did not confirm the final name on the leaked list, which is Bray Wyatt, which, I mean, if they do, that would be incredibly, that'd be really, really good, and, I mean, I wouldn't, put it past them to do something like that, so, we're gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, Wrestling Observer's WWE supposed to confirm that The Rock's grandmother will be announced soon, so, yeah, there you go. Okay, so, he's doing the Mark Kerr, speaking of The Rock, he's doing the Mark Kerr biopic. He's gonna be out, what was it, May 1st, August 1st, and in that time frame is Backlash and Night of Champions. If I'm remembering this correctly, because you got WrestleMania in April, and then literally right after that, you got Backlash, and then NXT something, and then it's Night of Champions. So I'm assuming, that's what I'm saying, it might not happen a Backlash because they're talking about how Roman and Rock are going to be Backlash. So it's like, all right, so I guess it's going to be a Night of Champions. But if it's not going to be a Night of Champions, I literally do not know when they're going to do this. I have no idea. CM Punk attended this week's NXT taping. Pro Wrestling and MMA News shared a picture of the injured WWE star seated behind staff and production equipment at the PC on Tuesday. Great. Good to know that he's still, like, floating around. That's good. Kind of makes me feel like his injury is not going to last that long. He'll be back maybe a little bit after Mania, maybe. So I don't know. So they're gonna start at 7. I don't know. I said 8. I said 8 at one point. I don't know where I got 8 from. Starting at 7. Literally have no idea where I pulled that off from. Either way, that would be great. Again, the latest it can end is like 12. That's what you want. You don't want it going on for way too long anyway. That means that the earliest it can end is like 10 or 11, which is beautiful. Having enough time to get ready to go to bed, right? I haven't made a decision yet. Domestic pay-per-views, by the way, which, duh. I mean, you can't do that in a completely different time. That makes no sense. So, hasn't made a decision, which I understand. He doesn't make the pay-per-views that long anyway, so, like, it doesn't need to be a thing set in stone. So, depends on what they do. The head of Minnesota Sports and Events, MNSC, confirmed to the Star Tribune that they submitted a pitch for Minneapolis to Minnesota to host next year's WrestleMania. We'll have to see if they do. I don't know. And WWE is going smaller than normal stage setup. Good. Means it's going to be really good. Well, it sounds like it's going to be really good, right? Really, what's the word? Really exciting. So, can't wait to see that. Folks, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs. Big hugs all around.